When we create a variable name in the Python, okay, remember, we cannot start with a number. Okay, we cannot start with a number. So that's one of the mistake, right? You guys make and encounter, right? So in this case, this is wrong. So make sure it starts without a number. Okay, very good. Okay, Louis, did you finish? You said I have a question, but I didn't see you posted the question.
Oh, you know, that was last time. You already fixed it.
Oh, you already fixed that?
Yeah.
Okay. Ask one, Bob said if, but you didn't test it. Louis, did you test it? I don't think you tested.
I did test it, but it says like return true. That thing is like it has an error. The first return.
Okay, do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why?
No.
Okay, but you didn't continue testing and work on that, right? Hey, let me tell you. The first issue, obvious issue, right? I don't even need to look at the details of the code. I just look at the line by line, right? I find the biggest problem is, look at here. You define a function, okay? What about these? These are the logic inside the function, right? But you forgot indentation. Louis, you get my point. Indentation. You forgot indentation, right? If you write like this, which means, hey, that is just block of your function, that's one line. All the rest of the code is excluded from the function. Louis. Okay? That's very basic knowledge point, okay? You should not make that mistake anymore, okay? Indentation, okay? And on the other hand, which means you didn't test your assignment. Once you're finished, you test it, right? And also, this set, I don't think it's working, okay? Set is a reserved keyword when you're using to create a new set. It's not a variable you can define, okay? So this is not correct.
Okay.
Same thing here, indentation, okay? This definitely not working. You ask me why it's returned directly, right? Oh, this is not. This is not part of the, you don't have a space. Okay, this is correct. This is not part of that, right? Well, look at here. This is wrong. Why? Because this if else should be inside the while loop. But now you forgot the indentation. So what happens if you run this? It will keep asking import, keep asking import. It will never go to this section. Okay? So Louis, actually it's for everyone. Once you do assignment, please test it. Okay, please test it. If it's not working, okay, you need to spend more time. Okay, if you don't have, if you have any question, right, don't know how to do that, please attend Thursday night class. Okay, if you have something else you cannot attend, I upload my video. Okay, I send the YouTube link. Please read. Okay, I don't think it's very difficult. Okay, and even I already explained line by line, right, how to do the assignment. So don't turn in any uncompleted assignment anymore. That is not unacceptable. Okay, and also do that as early as possible, right? Normally I give assignment on Tuesday night. So it's better to take a look at on Wednesday, okay? And try to understand that, right? If you have any question, right, read the question immediately, right? If you don't know how to do that, or if you have any problem when you're doing that, okay, please attend the Thursday night class, okay? Very important, right? So please try better, okay? Working more harder on this one. Okay, so that is about assignment. Again, right? I think I see progress, but you guys have more room to improve. Okay, so first then, come to the second part of this class is quickly review, okay, what we learned from the last 2 weeks. The main things we learned from the last 2 classes is talking about collection. Okay, it's talking about collection. So I open my PyCharm. Okay. So first question, Aston, how many collection types we have already discussed?
Say that again, please.
How many collection types we learned so far?
List,
List.
set,
Okay.
tuple, and dictionary.
Okay, very good. Right. Let me actually open a Notepad++. Right. So we learn list, tuple, set, dictionary. Okay. So what the character or what's the difference between each collection type? Right, Nathan, can I answer this question? What's the difference between each collection type? So starting from list.
List
List is what?
is indexed
Okay, it's indexed. And
it can be changed.
changeable. Okay, good. What else?
I don't know.
Okay, so index, changeable. Does the list allow duplicate? Huh?
Yes.
Yes. A list allows duplicate, right? Okay, Louis, how can we create a list? Using which ranking? Louis. Louis, you there? Okay, Julian, ask my question. How can we create a list?
Yeah. Huh? Square bracket.
Okay, square bracket, okay? And we can put the items. Again, we require the same type of the item in the list. Julian?
Huh?
Does the item in the list has to be the same type?
No.
No, okay, very good, right? We can put what? Integer, we can put a float, we can put a boolean, we can put a string, right? Just a string. And of course, we can put what? Another list. Okay? So here, every element item is separated by comma. Okay. What do you mean indexed? Jeffrey. What does it mean? The list is indexed.
The index is like navigation for, to look at the list, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, very good. Index is identifier for the position, right, for each item in the list, starting from 0. Okay. Now, I'll answer my question. What is the value for the index -1, Jeffrey?
Can you repeat that?
My question is, if I print out my list -1, what value will be printed out?
Error.
Why?
Error.
Why?
Because -1, the lowest is 0.
-1 is which one? -1 is which one? Okay. You have to remember. Okay, Louis, you there? Louis, can you speak or not?
Yeah.
What is
Yes,
the negative
I
one?
can. Negative 1 is basically the list 1, 2, 3, right?
Okay, Jeffrey, negative one means last one.
Oh, last one. Because-
Oh, okay. It's not the first time I'm talking about that. Okay, negative one, which means count from the last. Or tell me, negative 3. What's the value of negative 3? Jeffrey,
Huh?
what's the value of negative 3? Index negative 3.
The third from last.
Okay, which one?
True.
2. Okay, very good. Okay, what does mean of changeable? Julian, why we say a list is changeable?
Huh?
Julian?
Huh?
Yeah, why we say a list is changeable?
Because you can add and remove things from a list.
Okay. Okay. We can add, remove, or change a value in a list. Very good, right? So how can we change a value in a list? Julian? If I want to change some value of the list, how can I change that? And what?
Insert?
Insert? I said change a value of the list. I didn't say add a new value, right?
Oh.
Using index. The index is the way how to access a specific value, right? So suppose index 0 equals to 3 to 1. What happened? Which means the first value can be changed to 3 to 1. That's called changeable. Okay? And of course, right, we have some other functions like mylist dot append, right? Mylist dot insert. Okay, what's the difference? Jeffrey, what's the difference between append and insert function? What's the difference?
Okay, so I think that the append it adds a thing at the end of the list.
Okay, what about insert?
And I think insert I think insert is like where you could do it any position.
Insert takes 2 parameters, right? The first parameter is target position, right, or target index. Okay, the second parameter is what's the new value. Okay, that's the difference between append and insert. Okay, very good. Tuple. Louis, what is a tuple?
I don't know.
Do you know what's the difference between tuple and list? Huh? Okay, ask the, what's the difference between tuple and list?
Tuple is unchangeable.
Yeah. It is index. It's tuple index, Aston?
Yes.
Yes. Index, right? Or we actually call it ordered. Okay? Does tuple allow duplicate?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So In what kind of scenario we're going to using tuple? Can you just give me an example? Listen, in what kind of scenario we're going to using tuple instead of like list? Something you don't want to be changed, but something has to be ordered. Listen. What a group of value which is fixed, okay, normally will not be changed. Think about that, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Month of the years.
Month of the year, very good, right? Who said we're going to change the 1 month of the year, right? It's 4 months, January to December, right? Nobody can change that. I mean, normally, most of cases it won't be changed. Very good example, right? And another example is like states, right? We know how many and what are the states in US, right? Normally it won't be changed, okay? So that kind of like data, right? We should using tuple, okay? Again, tuple is index and ordered, right? So which means you can definitely using what? Index to access, okay, the value in the tuple. Fellas, you there, fellas?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I said I have a states tuple has 2 values, New York, New Jersey, okay? If I said print out states index -1, which value are gonna print out?
New Jersey.
Okay, so negative means starting from the end, okay? -1 is the last one, very good, right? New Jersey gonna be printed out, okay? Of course, we said unchangeable, which means what? Which means if you try to change the value, just like the, list, you're gonna get an arrow. Okay, you're gonna get the arrow because that's a tuple. Okay, and tuple is allowed duplicate. Very good. Okay, now set. Nathan, what is set? What's different? What's set?
It's like, it does not allow duplicate.
No duplicate, only unique. Okay, what else?
The order can change.
Order can change. Yeah, it's random order, right? So which means it's not ordered. Okay, you cannot able to like, hey, this is always the first item, second item, third item. It's not ordered. Okay, are they changeable?
It's not changeable.
It's not changeable, right? But it can be add or remove. Okay, it can be add or remove. Imagine set just like a big bag. Okay, you put things into the bag, right? Definitely, things in the bag, they are not ordered because if you pick one item out of the bag, you are not sure which one you're gonna pick, right? So that is not ordered. Okay, so we are not using index to get a specific item from the set. But set is usually used in a scenario is we wanted to keep a unique item in the collection. Okay, we don't want to duplicate it. So suppose I have a set, my set. Okay, Julian, you still remember what is the practice we're gonna use in for the set? Julian?
Huh?
What is the practice we can use to create a set? Remember?
The pointy parentheses, I don't know what it's called.
Point parentheses, okay, curvely parentheses, okay? That is used to create a set, right? So now you're gonna create a set that of A, B, C. Okay. Now, if I said my set, right, add A, fellas, what will be the item in the set after adding? After I added A, it's already ABC in the set, right? Now I add another A. What will be the new set contain? Fellas?
A, B, C.
Okay, that is wrong. Okay, why? Because we said no duplicate. Remember? Okay, so if there's already existing element in the set, it will just ignore. Okay, it will not add a duplicate into the set. You get that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now how do we change if a value item is already existing in a set? Jeffrey, how can we check if a value is already existing in a set?
If this is in,
If value in my set. Very good. Okay, if value in my set. Right, actually, that's the same way how we check for the other two collection type. Okay, my list, yeah, you can use the if value in the list. Tuple, right, you can change it, check if value in tuple. Very good. Okay, now back to the dictionary. Okay, Louis, what is dictionary? What's the difference between dictionary and the other three collection types? Louis? Hello, Louis.
Yeah.
What is the difference between the dictionary and the other type? What is dictionary?
And basically, if you type something in, it's going to give you a result.
How it store the value?
What? It calls.
What?
I think just like type something in it, then it calls the value right when you type the book name.
Okay, now answer my question, right? Is the dictionary ordered?
No.
Okay.
Not exactly.
Not ordered, okay? There's no first one, second one value in the dictionary. Okay. Is the dictionary indexed?
I think so.
Is the dictionary indexed?
I have no clue.
Aston, is the dictionary indexed? Aston?
Pardon me?
Is the dictionary indexed?
Yes.
Okay, very good. But what's the difference between this dictionary index and the other three type index? Okay, remember, the other three type, not three, actually two, right? Mainly list and tuple. List and tuple index, which means they have the index number. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. But dictionary index is different. Dictionary index is based on the key. Okay, why I say it's index? Index means you can find something quickly. Okay, how can I find something quickly? In the list, I can use the index number. Give me the value on the third position. I'm passing what? Index 2, right? Dictionary, it can also be fast search, but it's not index number, it's key, right? Give me the name of the person. Name, right? The person the name is the key, and the actual value of the name is the value, right? So dictionary is also index, but it's index of key. Okay. Julian, is the dictionary changeable?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, it's changeable. How to change that? Julian, how to change that? Using key, okay? Using key to access the value and also using the key to change that, okay? Alice, how
Yeah.
can we create a dictionary? You remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember. That's a very honest answer. Okay. So we're using curly bracket to create a dictionary. Okay. What's the difference between dictionary and the set, right? They have the same practice, but the value will be different. Okay, the value will be different. We said in a dictionary, okay, it just appears of key and value. What does it mean? You can have key 1, right? Colon separate, value 1. And if you want to have multiple, make sure you are using comma to separate, right? Different pairs. Key 2, value 2. Key 3, value 3. So here, I create dictionary. That's a template, right? I have 3 keys. For each key, I have corresponding value. Okay? So we said the dictionary is index, which means I can get the value, right, based on the key. Key 1, right, it will return me value 1 directly. Okay, what happens if I using a key, okay, which is not existing? Key 4, right, equals to value 4. Victor, you joined late. So answer this question. I have a key, I have a dictionary with this value. Okay, now I wanted to run this code. Dictionary key 4 equals value 4. What happened to the dictionary? Victor. Victor, you there?
Yes.
Okay. What happened to the dictionary if I run this key 4?
I don't know.
Okay, Nathan.
Yeah.
This is my dictionary. I run this. What happened?
It's gonna say false.
It's gonna say false. Why?
Wait. Second line 38 is adding the key 4, right?
Okay, very good, right? So if you try to using a non-existing key, right, and assign value, what happened is actually just insert a new pair into the dictionary, right? Why we call dictionary, right? Imagine just like a dictionary book, right? You find a word, you find the meaning, right? And how you're looking for meaning, right? You need the word. The word is just like a key, helping you to find the meaning, okay? Suppose you are using some word, you cannot find a dictionary. What are you gonna do? You just add it into the dictionary, right? Add it into the dictionary. And of course, If you found something which is meaning is not correct in dictionary, what do you do? I change that, right? Suppose I said change your value, P3, let me give a new value. What happened? P3 mapping to the new value. That's it. Okay, that's it. So let's quickly go to this page where I give you a solid example of dictionary. Okay, look at here. Phone book. Okay, Jeffrey, tell me what will be printed out?
Huh?
This code, what will be printed out?
Could you maybe repeat that?
Okay, I'll look at my screen.
Yep, I'm looking at it.
Then why are you not following? My question is, this is a code, okay, for a dictionary example. Tell me, what is this print out?
It's gonna print out John, the number, Jack, the number, and Jill, the number.
Okay, very good, right? What I'm doing here, first I create an empty dictionary, right? Now I try to use index John. Do we have index John in dictionary? No, I don't have because it's empty, right? So it's what I'm actually doing is insert John number to the phone book. Same, Jack existing? No, right? Jill existing? No. So it's basically create an empty dictionary and add a 3 key and value into the dictionary. If I run that, that is my dictionary content. Okay? That is the way how we, add an item into an empty dictionary. Of course, if you already know key and value, you can create directly, right? Key value, make sure key and value is separated by colon, and every pair of key and value is separated by comma. Do I have a comma at the last one? No. Okay, no. Iterate over dictionary. Okay. How can we iterate over dictionary? Okay. Normally we iterate over a list is what? For, suppose I have a list. Okay. Iterate a list. 4 items in my list. Right. It will just loop every item, every value in the list. Same thing for tuple, right? Same thing for set. Okay. A dictionary is a bit different. Why? Because I have key and value. We have key and value, right? So if I said 4 items in my dictionary from print item. Okay, Aston, if I print like this, what actually will be print out? Aston?
The values.
The value? Let's try that, right? Let's try it. Okay, suppose I have, I use this example, okay? I use this example. Too slow. Okay, come here. Okay, I have a dictionary, right? Now I said, okay, item in phone book, right? I print item. Okay, only having one loop variable, item, right? Now if I print out, what am I gonna print out? Aston, do you see? What is it print out?
The key.
The key. It only print out the key, right? So how can we print out the value? How? Two ways, okay? The first way is, remember you have the key, how to get the value, right? Using the index, right? That item, add phone book, one. Using the index, right? Using index. Okay, that's the first way. If I run that, phone book item must be string, not an integer. Okay, so this one has to be this is string, right? Okay, maybe that's not the way. Okay, anyway, let's talking about second one, right? The second one look like this. Item value in phone book, right? So now if I print out item okay, now if I run this, okay, I think I'm missing someone. Let me take a look at this one. Items. Okay, I need to add items. Okay, now if I run this, this is a string. Okay, right? So that's a way how we can print out if I into key, it will be more obvious, right? Key and value. I can have two different loop variable, key value, okay? But make sure you are having phone book items when you loop that. Okay, that's the way how you loop the dictionary, right? Key and value. Okay, how can we remove a value, right? Just delete the dictionary, pass in the key. Okay, how can we pop? The pop means also delete, but the difference between this is it will pop up the first one. Okay, pop up the first one. Okay, and this is the way how we check if an item is in a dictionary, right? We're using key. Okay, if Jake in the phone book, if Joe is not in the phone book, okay, this one, right? In or not in. Okay, so that is about dictionary. Okay, it's very important that we need to have more practice on that one. Okay, the next one I'm going to talking about the new stuff for this class, and I think we have to rejoin the meeting. Okay, today we're going to talking about something new, right? And that's actually is also very, very, very important concept in almost all the programming language. Okay, it's called class and object. Before we're talking about class and object, okay, there's a term called OOP. Okay, so if you ask any computer engineer or programmer, right, what is OOP? They must know what is OOP because that is the mechanism how the programming world is working today, right? So what is the OOP? OOP stands for Object-Oriented Programming. Object-Oriented Programming. Okay, it's very important. OOP. Okay. So why we say that? Because we know programming word is a little bit abstract word. Okay. If we wanted to use the abstract stuff to simulate the real world, it will be very challenging, right? Because the real world is so complicated. How you are using the number, the code to simulate, right? Everything's in the real world and place logic. Okay, but fortunately, there's lots of genius, right? They develop, right, several typical type of the programming mechanism. OOP is one of the classic. Okay, right now in the world, most of the main programming language, okay, are using OOP, okay, and the programming concept, like Python, like Java, like C++. Okay, so next is we're talking about object-oriented programming. So what is object? Object is something concrete or some detailed things in all your life. What is object? Whatever you see, you can touch with the object, right? Table, cup, phone, printer, computer, house, tree, lamp, right? Bicycle, cat, dog, right? Mom, brother, building, they're all objects. Okay. So the basic concept, okay, supported by OOP is class and object. And of course, there's some other, character. Polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction. Okay, so that is what we're not talking about right now. Okay, we want to focus on the class and object firstly. Okay, let me make it bigger actually. Have fun. Okay. Okay, here. This is class. This is object. Okay, this is class. Right side is class. Left side is object. So class, you can understand it as a template of something, a type of something, right? So here, a very good example is car. Because we know there are lots of different cars, different brand, different model, different year, different color, cars with different features, right? But overall, we are all call it car. When we say it's a car, which means it must have some common things. Like what? Car has a door, right? Car has a wheel. Car has a what? A brake, right? Car has a lamp. So that's all common things for car. We call that attributes. We also call that property, right? What is attribute? What is property, right? Every object has properties. Human being has a property. Name, age, gender, home address, phone number, that's called property, right? That's called property or attributes. I mean, they're the same thing, okay? A car also have properties. Like here, year, make, model. Then when we're talking object is nothing, just different what? Detailed implementation of a class. Okay? Why we say that? Look at here. I have an object called Camry, right? It's a type of car. It's a car. Yes, it is a car. So which means what? Which means this object is concreted from the class car. Okay? Then the details value of the car, right, for each property can be different. Okay, so Camry, the year, can be 2000, right? The make, Toyota, right? Model, what? Camry. That is the property value for Camry, this object. Okay, same thing. Other type of different objects. Okay, those are different objects, but they are coming from the same class called R. Okay, so that's a concept between class and object. Right? Give you another example. We said human being. Human being can be a class because that's a generic prototype or template. Right? But we know every human has multiple properties. Nationality, skin color, right? Language, right? Age, gender, right? Height, weight. That's all called property of the human class. Okay, now we said, hey, for human, we can have different objects. Like what? Like American people, right? Chinese people, Mexico people, European people, Japanese people, right? And even, right, it can be more detailed. Depends on like how you define those objects. Okay? But the key part is you need to understand the class, which means a little bit generic prototype. Okay? The object, which means it's coming from a class, but you need to give the value of each property. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Are you guys following? Do you guys have any question?
No.
Not? Okay. So now, let me go to clean it up. Clear or drawing. Okay. Okay, here. So now we said have a class. So just like a function, we need to define a function, right? We need to define a class. How? Class is the keyword, lowercase, okay? How? Okay? It's a little bit different from the function, right? We don't need a parenthesis, right? We don't need a bracket, right? We use the keyword class and give a name call. Okay, so now it has colon, where you have a colon, which means what? It's starting a block of code, right? Make sure indentation. In a car or in a class, we can define different properties. Like what? Like we said maker or brand, okay? That's all. Okay, we can have model, model X, right? Year. Okay, that's it. I create a class, right? How many property I have here? Listen, how many property are created inside this class?
Six? 6?
6? What are the 6?
No, 3.
What is the property? Property just like a variable, but different. The variable is only existing in this class. That's
Yeah.
called property. Okay. So here we have 3 property.
Yeah.
Brand, model, year. Okay. Brand, model, year. And the difference is what? I have value already defined or given to the property. Okay, so now I say I have a car. What happened here is we said my car equals to what? New car. We actually don't have new, right? Car branded. Now what happened? I print. That's a way how you create. Can you just put some comments? Okay, help you to understand. It's very important, guys. Okay, define a car class and create a object for the my car from car class. Right? Again, I said object is coming from the class. Okay, that's a way how you create, right, an object from a class. Now, if I print my car dot, oh, dot. That's the first time we see that, right? Why we can even dot? Because I'm using this object which is coming from this car class. Okay, so which means this object inherits, right, all the property defined in the class. How to access it using dot. My car the model. I print out. I got a model X. Why I got a model X? Because I said object dot model. Why this my car has a property called model? Because my car is an object of class car. And this class template or prototype have property called model. Okay, so namely, you can access all the what property from the class. You may ask me, can I try something different? Right? ABC. Will it work? Let's see. What do you see? A car object has no attribute ABC. Okay? So you cannot using non-existing attributes. Okay? So can I change the value? Yes. How can I change the value? My car dot brand or dot year, right? It's not 2020, right? Because I said objects can be different, right? I have a Model X Tesla, of which the year is 2020. You also have a Tesla Model X car, but your year is 2019. Okay, so that is 2 different objects, right? That's a 2 different objects. So the value can be changed. How? Using object.attribute property name and change the value, right? If I print out and then change the value, and then print again. Let's see. You see here, my car.year has been changed, right? And of course, we can print out the, what happens if I print out my car directly? I try to print out object. Okay, it print out something, right? But it's not readable or understandable. Okay, but at least I can tell, hey, this object is coming from what? R class. R class. Okay. Let me go to this one. Look at here. Python is an object-oriented programming language, right? It's an OOP language. Almost everything in Python is an object, okay? With its properties and functions and methods, right? We haven't talked about methods, okay? A class is like an object constructor or a blueprint for creating objects. What is blueprint? Listen, what is blueprint?
I don't know. It's
I don't
like
know.
instructions, right?
Construction.
Yeah,
Instruction.
instructions.
How is it blueprint? I have a blueprint of the building. What does it mean? I have a prototype of the building, right? Same here. Class is just like a blueprint for creating objects. Hey, I want to create an object of car. So how do I know what properties and what functions inside a car class? Okay, you have to take a look at the car class. For example, here, right? Create a class named myClass with a property, right? One property named X. Okay, and of course, just give a value type, right? Now, if I have this class definition, now I wanted to create an object named P1, which is coming from my class, and print the value of X. How can I do that? P1, my class, this is the class name. Brackets, okay, I have this object. I print out object dot property name. Why I said X, not Y, because this is X. Okay? Okay, just like this, right? The difference is I have 3 properties, but he only have 1 property. Okay. So now you may ask me why? Because we said the car class is like prototype, it's a template, right? Then how can you have those values already inside the class? Shouldn't those values be assigned when you create the object? Right? Because I can create object with different model, different maker, right? Brand of different year. So the specific value should not be included in the class. You're right. So what we need to do that is we need to introduce init. It's actually not just called init function. It's underscore underscore init underscore underscore. A little bit weird function name, right? It's a function, but it's a weird function. I guess, I mean, the inventor is mainly wanted to distinguish from the normal function. Okay, anyway, you have to remember the init function is starting and ending with 2 underscore. Jeffrey, are you following?
Yep.
So
Uh-huh.
to understand the meaning of the class, we have to understand the built-in init function. All class has a function called init, which is always executed when the class is being initialized. What's the meaning of a class is initialized? A class is being initialized is basically mean you are creating an object from the class. Okay. So use the init function to assign the value to object properties or other properties that are necessary to do when the project and when the object is being created. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, I have a class for the person. But you see different. This class don't have any property like this, right? Or like my example, where's my example? Like this. We don't have variable. We don't have property. We don't have variable. Instead, it's def. When you say def means what? It's a function. You see, it's defined an init function. And look at the parameter. Self, name, age. Okay. The self means what? Namely, self means me. Okay? Here, because you're trying to create an object. So this init, as we said, right, the init function will be called every time you create an object. So here, the if stands for that object. You get my point? The init function will be called when you create an object from the class. Okay, automatically, right? Called automatically every time the class is being used to create a new object. So here, the first parameter has to be self because that will be stand for the object. Okay, now we have a name, we have age. They are the second and third parameter. What happened inside the function? Self.name equals to the past name. Self.age equals to the past age. I create an object, assign the past name to my own property called name. I assign the past age to my own property called age. I don't have to write explicitly to have the property defined like this. Okay? How can I use that? P1, I create one person object called P1. It's my variable. Okay? P person is the class name person. John, 36. What is the John? What is 36? That's a value for name. That's a value for age. That is a little bit different from how we call the function before, right? Earlier when we learned for the function, we said, hey, how many parameters do I have here? 3 parameters. Then you have to pass in 3 values. Otherwise, it give you error, right? But not the case here. Okay, here they're not. Okay, we don't have to take care of the self because self is himself. I just need to pass in the second and the rest of the parameters, name and age. After doing that, I said print P1 name, print P1 age. What is P1 name? It is John. Why P1A equals to John? Because when I initialize the object, the John is passed inside of the function and assigned to my self.age name. What is self? Self is P1, right? The object itself, right? Here the object itself is P1. So P1 name, P1 age is whatever the value we assign here. Guys, any question?
No.
So the self.name and self.age is the, what do you call it? The
Huh?
what is the self.name and self.age called?
What's the meaning of what?
Self.name and self.age. It's
Oh,
the name
okay.
of the variable?
What's the name of self, name, self, age, right? What do you mean dot? Nathan.name, Nathan's name, Nathan's age. Okay, dot means attribute or property of something. Okay, so self.name means this object name, right? This object age. Okay, so when you really create the object, what is self here? The self here for P1 is P1 himself. So P1.name stands for, right, whatever the name. P1.age is the age of the self. You guys understand it?
So the class is in a function, and you're basically calling the function and printing the things inside the class.
I don't have to call the function. I didn't explicitly said call the function, right? Remember, in our older way, said, hey, I have a function, right? How can I call the function? Do I have to call the function name? Like this, right? That's the old way how we call the function. But that's here different, okay? Because that function is special. That is constructor or init function of a class. This function is inside a class. And this init function will be called automatically when you are trying to create object from the class. When you say the person, John 36, what happened here is it will call the init function automatically and assign the value, name, and age to himself. To himself means what? O means P1.name equals John, P1.age equal to 36. Understand? So, if that's the case, does it mean I can create multiple objects? And each object, what, has the same property, name and age. Where the value of the name age coming from is when you create the object from the class, you're passing the name and age, right? I run this. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's take a look at this one. Let's get back to this. Okay, I wanted to change that. How can I change that? I don't want it to explicitly to say, hey, what's the property and the value, right? I want to create a init function. Okay, again, you see, I don't even type. The Python give me the default first parameter is himself automatically, right? I want to say brand, model, year. Okay, that's the three value or property value I'm expecting when I create the car object. How can I do that? right? Notice the indentation, okay? Notice indentation. This function is inside the car indentation here. And again, if I write in something here, that is inside my init function. Louis, okay? Pay attention to the indentation. Okay, I tried to assign the value of brand to myself. Same thing as model. Same thing as year. Very good. I have this. Now, I'm ready. I have created a car class. Okay? It has a default init function. Take 3 properties. Brand, model, year. So now I want to create an object from the class. Okay, here. I create object for the Tesla. How we create the object from the class name, bracket. What I should pass in here? You need the passing value for brand, model, year. Hey, I want to create another object for the BMW. What else? Honda. What is Honda? I don't know. XYD, right? I have created 3 objects here from the same class, car. And for each object, I'm assigned different value for the 3 property, brand, model, year. If I print Tesla dot model, right? You can print off brand, model, year, whatever, because they are the 3 existing properties. Okay, so I run this. Right, it print out the model of each object. 3 objects, 1 class, different value for 3 properties. Any question?
No.
Okay. What happens if I do something like what happens if I don't assign anything? Let me try. I don't know. For you. Let's see what happened. See? Line number 12. Missing 3 required additional arguments. Brand, model, and year. They're missing here. Okay? And one thing I wanted to show you, by using IDE, right? There's one advantage we can use is we can use debug. What is called debug? Debug means you can see every step of your code execution. Sometimes you ask me, hey, I don't know why this is happened, why this is returning that, right? I mean, by reading the code, especially if complicated, it's very difficult to figure out. So try to debug. In the Python, not Python, in the pie chart, right? This IDE. I mean, if you're using other IDE, can do the same thing. Look at here, line number. I can put the red dot called breakpoint. Okay, what's the usage of that? See, I have two options to run that. Run test. If you run test, it will be normal run. Okay, no debug. Right? If I run again, okay. See, will print. But if I run debug, what I'm gonna see is the code gonna stop here. Okay, a little bit different. It's not see the console directly. It stop here. Okay. I think we have to restart the meeting. Okay, we'll come back here. I'm trying to debug my code. You can using the red dot for the breakpoint, which means when the program is executed, it's gonna be paused here. Look at here. I paused it here. Why is it paused? It's actually, first of all, you create a definition of the car. And then what do? You try to create an object from the car class. Okay? What I said, when creating an object, the init function will be called automatically. Okay? Will be called automatically. So as you can see here, this is stopped here because when we try to create Tesla object, it is called the init function. Okay? And I can see what? I can see the exact value for all the items in your code right now. Look at here. Hey, what's the value of brand? Hey, brand is Tesla, model is Model X, right? And the year is 2020. What is self? We said self is what? Self is just the new object of this class. Now what's next? You can choose step over. I click on step over. Do you see there's a several arrow here? Step over. What do you see? It's moved to next line of code, right? Step over. Step over. Why it's come here? Because the init function is completed. So this line of code will be completed. Now, if I click on step over again, the program is come to the next line. I try to create a second object. When I create a second object, when it says step over, what happened? Again, the init function will be called automatically.
I have a question.
Yes.
Tesla, BMW, and Honda, it's all lists, right?
What's it again?
Tesla, BMW, and Honda are lists, right?
No, it's not a list. Why you say it's a list?
Wait.
It's a separate individual object. It's not a list. Why is it a list?
I see. The Tesla is the brand, Model X is the model, and the
Look at the value, right? If I do the debug, you can clearly see, hey, what's the brand here? All right, the parameter brand value is BMW. Why? Because I'm trying to create a car of this object. It's passing BMW X6 2019. When I come here, I can see brand, model, year.
okay.
Right? If I continue, what happened is it's come to the Honda. Do you see the value change? Honda XYZ 2020 and 2018.
So it's like a dictionary, but then you input
You can think about the class, right, of the property like a dictionary. The only difference is you are using dot to access it, right? Instead of like square brackets.
You have to have a dot?
You have to have a dot.
Okay.
Okay? You have to have a dot. Again, it's not a list, okay? It's not a list, right? It is a car class. You try to create objects from the car class.
Okay.
Okay? I know it's difficult to understand, right?
So the self.brand equals the brand after equals is a parameter, right?
After equals to is whatever the parameter value you're parsing. You're parsing Tesla, BMW, Honda, right? For every object. Okay? What is the model? What's the difference between brand and brand, model, year? Right? The difference is brand is a property of myself. This brand means the actual value you want to assign to the brand, which is Tesla, BMW, Honda. Same thing for model. This model, it means my property, my attribute model. This model is whatever the model value passed when created the object. Model X, X6, XYZ. Same for year. Any question? Aston, you understand that? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You changed the name, right? Okay, fine. Again, I think it is not easy to understand, but that's very important. So we're gonna keep practice. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to quickly introduce is about the what? The function. So look at this slide I created. Okay. We said class is a template to create your object. You can have property or variable, property, attribute, or variable. They're almost the same concept, right? Besides that, we can have method and a function. What does it mean? Look at this example. Again, I said init is a function, but that is a special function. You cannot use the other name, and you don't have to call that explicitly. But besides that, in the class, you can define any other common function. Why I say common function? Because again, the class is a template, a prototype, right? Why we say brand model year? The brand model year is a common attribute for all the cars. Am I right? Same thing for all the cars. They must have some common behaviors, right? Or common functions. So we call it start. Great. And what do you see? When you actually create the different functions, by default, it always has self as a what? The first parameter. It's added automatically. I didn't even typing by myself. Okay? Inside the function, you put your logic. What am I gonna put? Again, I'm parsing self, which means what? I can use anything under myself. Right? Brand is starting now. Okay? Same thing as brand is breaking. I have a class. In a class, I have an init function, which initializes the attributes of the class. Also, I'm define other common functions, right? for in the class. Again, you must have self as the first parameter. And you can using self dot to access any property inside a function. Okay, I have that. How can you use that? How are we using property? Object dot property name. How are we using function? Object dot function. Do I need a parsing self? No, because that's the default. Okay, all the self one. When I create it, I don't parsing self. When I start, I don't have, right? I'm calling the function from this object. Why I can call the function from the object? Because this object is coming from the car class. In the car class, I have that function. Now I run this. What do you see? Tesla is starting now. Why Tesla is starting? Look at here. Okay, I make it easy, okay? I make it easy for you guys to understand. I run again. I only have one object. Tesla. It's initialized from the class car. You know, call the init function. Assign the value to the three properties. Now I'm gonna call it Tesla dot. Okay, dot what? Dot is the function name. It's dot. Run this. This function can be called. How it can be called? Then I'm gonna print out self.brand. What is self.brand? Self.brand is this, and it had the value what? Tesla is starting now. And run this, right? Print out Tesla is starting now. If I'm using Tesla.break, what are you going to see? You're going to see Tesla is breaking. What happened if I have different object? Okay, BMW, right? Start and break. You're going to see BMW start and break. Because you create the object, you call the function of this object.
What's the point
question?
What's the point of adding start and break?
What's the point of adding a start and break? Which means they are the common functions belongs to the class. What do you mean common function? Every call has a start and break function. Should have. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Just like human. If you have a human or person class, okay, besides those static property, height, weight, gender, age, name, it also needs some function. Like what? Sleep, eat, work, jump.
So
Okay.
so the start and break doesn't do anything. It's just for like, it's just something added like.
Of course, it's not doing anything here right now because I make it simple, right? But
Like
think about that, right? If you have a really realistic object, all the complicated logic should be put into the start function. And why? Because for every object you're coming from the car class, you don't have to create a start function by yourself. Understand? Because the start function should be common for all the cars. Do you agree? That's the reason why I have to put the start, right, or put the common function inside my class. Any more questions? Any more questions?
What is the self.brand called? Is it called like it starts with a P?
Sorry, say that again. What's the question?
What is it like called? Like the name of the variable? Like the
Which line of code?
like 4, 5, and 6. What is the self.brand and self.model called?
As I said, self is a reserved keyword, stand for himself. And for what? And for the object itself. What is the object? Here, it will be used, it will become meaningful when you really create object from class. In this case, self stands for Tesla. In this case, self stands for BMW. So self stands for the object. Okay? Without object, you just look at it in the class, it doesn't mean anything. Okay? All the self here is stand for the object itself. Tesla, BMW, that's called object. Okay. A little bit complicated, right? But this is what it is, okay? Try to look at the reference pages of class, right? There's only one page, okay? Read about that, play around with that, okay? And of course, right, I'm gonna still give maybe a very simple assignment because the class and object will be very confusing, okay? But again, right, try to read and try to do it as soon as possible. If you have any questions, please attend our Thursday's night class. Okay? That's it. If no more questions, that's the end of today's class. Okay. Felix and Victor, right? Can both of you remain? I need to talk to you. And for the rest of the kids, right? You guys can end the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.